Teaching students, middle school students especially, research strategies sometimes has a very divergent path. They want to go one direction and the teacher would like to go the other. This information will be about information literacy skills, the Big Six, and classroom teachers. Information literacy is just a quick review, having the ability to locate, select, evaluate, use, manage, communicate, and generate information. The Big Six Research Skill Framework. It's a widely known and widely used approach to teaching 21st century information and technology skills. This framework integrates information search and use skills along with technology tools in a systematic process to find, use, apply, and evaluate information for specific needs and tasks. Think about your building, your school building. Who teaches information literacy skills? Who creates research projects for students to complete? What do your teachers know about teaching a research process? What do your students know about a research process? The very first question, who teaches information literacy skills, mainly is going to be your school librarian. But who creates the research projects for students to complete? Well, that would be the actual teachers. A lot of times there may not be the collaboration between the school media specialist or librarian and the teacher who is creating research projects for the students. What do teachers know about teaching a research process? Most teachers in their undergraduate work and learning how to teach, there have not been information literacy skills instruction to teach teachers how to teach research skills. What do your students know about a research process? Little to none unless you have specifically gone over that. Where do we start? Teachers need to understand a research process before they can teach the students how to research. Students need steps to manage research, especially at the middle school level. The Big Six is one model. There are tons of different research skill models out there to use with middle school, but one of the most prevalent, one of the easiest to use is the Big Six. Why the Big Six? Well, according to Common Core state standards for English language arts and literacy and history, social science, and technical subjects, to be ready for college, workforce training, and life in a technological society, students need the ability to gather, comprehend, evaluate, synthesize, and report on information and ideas, to conduct original research in order to answer questions or solve problems, and to analyze and create a high volume and extensive range of print and non-print texts in media forms old and new. The bottom line is, with our Common Core state standards, every teacher in the building now is needing to teach research skills. What is the Big Six? The researchers who are attributed with the Big Six as a framework for middle-level research skill instruction are Eisenberg and Berkowitz in 1996. The steps for the Big Six research model for students include: number 1, task definition; number 2, information seeking strategies; number 3, location and access; number 4, use of information; 5, synthesis; and 6, evaluation. The teacher should. Very first thing the teacher should do is help students define the task. What is the destination? This is where, from the previous research skill instruction module that we did, the students need to know where the end is. What are they trying to do? What is the final product? Show students a sample or example product before research begins. Ideas teachers can use with students. You could brainstorm questions for research, have the students create their own questions, or use a KW. What do they know? What do they want to know chart to define what is known and unknown about their topic. Task definition, step 1. Number 2, information seeking strategies. The teachers should help students determine all possible sources. So students need to stop and think, are there print resources? Are there any books or print encyclopedias available? Would information from an almanac First of all, remind students of the essential questions. What are they trying to find out? Keep the students on task. It might be best doing a round robin by dividing students into 2 or 3 groups and giving them 15 to 20 minutes at an information station. For example, you might have half of your class looking at print resources while the other half is looking at information databases or the internet, and then you can switch. Um, 3 groups might include one student group that is at their desk writing out their information or synthesizing. One of the best things to do is to outline the time and or to help organize the information for the students that are struggling to locate all of their sources in the allotted time. Location and access continued. Each day you should use a wrap-up strategy like an exit ticket, a parking lot, or something to ask your students. What did you find today? Where are you in the research? What do you need to do tomorrow? By giving students something to look forward to and to think about for the next day, perhaps they won't forget everything they have done for this day. Step 4 is use of information. You can teach your students the wrap, read a paragraph strategy. Teach the students not to try to read the whole article or the whole passage at once. Read one paragraph at a time. In use of information, also teach students with the wrap strategy. Ask yourself some questions. Read first. Ask, what is the most important detail from this paragraph? What is the one thing I want someone to know from what I just read? Does my information make sense? What made me say, wow, I didn't know that? As far as making sense for your information, if you have your students researching scientific inventions and one student has Leonardo da Vinci and all of the information that they are reading happens to be about art, the student should be able to notice partway through that he or she is not reading about scientific inventions, so they would need to find the part on Leonardo da Vinci that does include the scientific inventions. Step 5 is synthesis. For your students, you should show your students how to put information into their own words. Sum up what you've learned from this paragraph. Teach your students to write it down in their own words. Say it out loud, then write it down. Sometimes if students hear it, then they can verbalize in their own words. Organize information from multiple sources. Teach your students that not all information is worth keeping. Have them start looking at what pieces go together. Sometimes it's helpful to have an outline or note cards, especially for middle school students who need that kinesthetic looking at and moving around of those note cards. Prepare for and present the project. What information? Teach your students to ask, what information will make the cut? What are the key points from the information? Step 6 is the evaluation. This is the last step. Give time for students to complete this step. First of all, the students need to do a self-evaluation. They need to judge the product or project, the effectiveness of what they are turning in, and judge the process, the efficiency that they did for their research. You could do this as a survey. Peer conferencing is another good tool. Have your students ask or show theirs to 3 before me, which means they would show their project or product to 3 other students before it gets to the teacher. Have your students rotate in groups of 4 so they can do that peer conferencing. Set a timer. Just give each student 3 to 5 minutes to look through a project and decide, does it have all of the information that it needs? Finally, don't forget to have your students present their projects or display the